adequate information. To me, the Cantos looks more and more like my email, or my email looks more and more like the Cantos. It's miscellaneous, assorted. You can't quite find the order, but there is an order in it. The order is the order of the way human beings relate to the realities around them.
Interestingly, you've written about both Joyce and Pound as, in a sense, prophets of the Internet.
Yeah, well, who's generally regarded as the major prophet of the Internet? Marshall McLuhan. There are more and more books coming out reinterpreting McLuhan because Internet makes a lot of what McLuhan wrote make more sense than it did before Internet got as big as it is now. I got a book called Digital McLuhan, which applies his theories to the current state of Internet and what we've expected in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, McLuhan always said he got most of his ideas from Joyce. That's no secret. In almost every book he stops off somewhere to mention James Joyce as the major authority on how media affect us. Well, McLuhan also got a lot from Pound. I first encountered McLuhan in the 1950s in various academic magazines writing essays on Pound's Cantos. And then Pound and McLuhan together formed Square Dollar Press, which was a typical Poundian idea. There was a lot of books that Pound thought were tremendously important that nobody wanted to publish. So Pound got the idea of publishing highlights from these important books in thin volumes that you could sell for $1. So even if people didn't get to read the whole book, if they read these selections, they might be so inspired they would spend the money to hunt up a rare book dealer to find the books. So McLuhan and Pound put out Fenelos's essay on the Chinese written character, which Pound was always trying to get into print and never could find a publisher to print, and a selection of passages from Agassiz illustrating close observation and accurate description, and Pound's translations of the Chung Yung and the Ta Shil of Confucius, and from Alexander Delmar's History of Monetary Systems, I guess chiefly Pound, but McLuhan was co-editor of the series. They selected the worst atrocities committed by bankers throughout history and published it as a history of monetary crimes. And if Pound had the effect he wanted, then Agassiz would be republished in full, and we'd get Alexander Delmar's History of Monetary Systems in full. But anyway, we got the highlights thanks to the Square Dollar series. So McLuhan was very, very much aware of Pound and Pound's importance. And the technique of the Cantos is in many ways closer to Internet than Finnegan's Wake is.
Well, both he and Joyce seem to have taken basically all information available to them and kind of condensed and synthesized it into their own vision.
Yeah, Finnegan's Wake and the Cantos are so remarkably different on the surface, but underneath, both of them seem to be trying to include as much of humanity as possible in one book.
Well, what's interesting to me is that opportunity is now available to all of us, since we have this giant information source.
That's what I mean about Joyce and Pound being prophets of Internet. Reading Joyce and Pound is much easier now that Internet exists, because every time you're really puzzled, just put it into your search engine and you'll find out something about it. The Internet more and more begins to approximate the minds of Pound and Joyce.
This concludes Session 2. Our program continues with Session 3.